Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm so excited about this folding these shoes. These are the same size, just to kind of show you the size difference. These shoes and these shoes are the same, but this is folded out of 4 sheets of 6-inch paper, and these are folded out of four pieces of 3-inch paper. So basically, I cut 1 sheet in half to get a pair, which is, or 1 sheet in quarters to get a pair. But I just found these so cute, and I'm going to show you how to fold all of these. So we're going to get started. I'm going to move all my little menagerie of shoes out of the way, and we'll get started. So the first thing, though, I want to show you is if you have double-sided foil paper. This is something I just discovered like 15 minutes ago, because I found that the foil paper is extremely shiny. As you can see, it's really shiny, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. But what I discovered is you can dull it down and make a really richer gold, and with a very easy tool. It's something you find in your kitchen. And what it is I used a little green scrubby pad, Scotch Brite, those little things that we use to scrub our pots and pans. I just use a clean one, and all you need to do is just gently, very soft motion, go in a circular motion on your paper, and this will dull your foil. And what it will do, if you don't want to go too heavy, because it will scrape off down to the paper on the other side. But what's nice is if you want to dull it down or make it richer looking, all you need to do is just do this. Just use your little scrubby and go in circular motion until you get the sheen that you like. I just wanted to share that with you because I thought it was sort of a last minute thought, because I have really bright lights, and I thought, oh, these lights are just going to make it really hard to show you because they'll just, blind us. So I thought I needed to dull this down, and I found that it was so much more pretty, I think, than the shiny. So I just want to let you know you can do that. Prepare your papers ahead of time. And so we're going to start with the high heel, with these little fun heels. And these are you just need 2 sheets of paper. If you have foil, great. If you don't, you'll know the folding sequence. I dulled these silver ones already because these would have already been flashing big time in our eyes. So I'm glad I was able to do that and share that with you. So I'm going to take out, actually it's been like crazy trying to remember these shoes. So I've kind of got little diagrams, and this one is my own diagram. So I can put this on the site without any trouble with copyright. So I'll go ahead and post that up, and also with the video, of course, that we're doing today. So I'm going to make sure if everybody's muted, just so that I can make the recording. And then what I'll do is I'm going to run through every shoe, every single pair. I'll do 2. So I'll make the first one and then a second one. And once I'm finished with all 3 shoes, I will open up and we can go through stuff together. But we'll start by doing these. And usually the pumps, these little stylish pumps, this was actually originated by Rachel Katz. She's an origami designer. I believe she lives in New York. And she and I met at an origami convention, and she's the one that showed me how to make these shoes. So what you want to do is, with the color side together, so this is the color side. And I'm not sure now if it's going to be the foil or not until I actually fold it, but I'm going to fold it in half. And it's good to fold both at the same time if you want, actually with these especially. Fold it in half on the both sides or both sheets. And open it up and fold it in basically a cupboard fold. We're going to fold to the center crease on both sides. What I think I need to do is, I actually now realize that what this is going to do is this going to make the whole shoe silver. So I'm going to start this over. If I want just the accent of the silver, I need to have the silver folded together. So I want my shiny accent part, or whatever the part that you want to be prominent. And maybe I have this right. I'm just going to keep going. Who knows what it will be. I think I'm overthinking it here. But I'm just going to go ahead and do this covered fold to the center. I'm just going to do this one and see where it goes before I commit to that one. So what you do is then you turn it over so that the solid side is up. And what I'm going to do is take the right side and the left side, starting with the right side. I'm going to fold it towards the center, but at the same time, I'm going to let that bottom part flip out so that we did this with another fold before. I think it was the dress. So now I'm just going to press it down. So I've let that part flip out. Yes, I just now know what I did, but that's okay. We're going to make an interesting shoe. So it's going to be a shiny shoe. So now I've got the left side folded edge, and I'm going to bring that left folded edge to the center, and I'm going to flip that little bottom part out and just bring it right to the center. Now, what that does is you can see it kind of makes this kind of, they call that a Z fold, I think. But that's how we want to make that. And this will be a fun shoe, actually. I think this is going to be silver on the outside. And so I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So just so that when you do work with these, fold them at the same time on these, because then you'll have the shoes will be the same length and the same color. So you just want to fold, again, the second paper with the pink. Like for me, I'm doing the pink side. And then I'm going to open it up and fold the left and the right side together on both sides, a covered fold. And I'm going to turn it over so that the solid side is up. And then I'm going to take my right side and I'm going to flip out that, as I start to fold it over, I want to flip this bottom edge out and then just bring that to the center line and crease it well. Same with the other side. I'm just taking this solid folded side. I want to fold that to the center, but I'm going to flip the bottom edge out and then just make a nice crease. So now you could see what I've done. I did exactly what I didn't want to do. I have, which is fine because this will show you what will happen. This shoe is going to be mostly silver on the inside. So if you see that, this shoe will be mostly pink on the inside with a silver tip. And this one is going to have the other. Now, if I want to reverse it, which I can do it right now while I'm thinking about it, is if I want to reverse this, all I can, because then my shoes will be they'll be uniform. So I want to go this way. Let's see, I'm going to just reverse these folds. So you can, when you do this, you can reverse it, but it's only at this point. I can't do it if I can get that close. There we go. I won't be able to do it once I'm farther along than this. Okay, so here I've got, now this is the way I wanted it to happen because I wanted the color on the inside, like this pair here, and the pink on that little trim. So this is how it needs to be. If you want, so just want them both the same way, however you do it though. So now I've got my two shoes sort of getting ready. This is the bottom of them. So I'm going to start by, I'm going to take, this will be the toe, and this is kind of how I just take it, is I want to fold these kind of, I can't really tell you what the math is on this, but I guess it's maybe thirds almost, but what you want to do is you're going to fold these little points down, these little corners down, and you want them kind of even. So I just measure while I'm just kind of look to see if these points are lined up. And then you just, to make the heel box or the toe box, sorry about that, not the heel. And now I can go ahead and lay that flat. So it's close, but not exactly even, but that's okay. So I've got this beginning of my toe box on my shoe. And if I want to adjust it to get this one even, I would just kind of bring this up a little bit, maybe, but it's fine. It doesn't need to be perfect. Now I'm going to just fold my little point down just a little to make a little design, just a little bit, not a whole lot. I'm going to do the same on the other side so I have the matching shoe. So I'm just folding this little corners. It's really pretty, you don't have to measure it, just eyeball it. And then on this side, I can see this point is on, this little guy is on top on this side. So I'm going to do the opposite on this one. So, and I'm going to do my little tip right there. So now I have a pair of shoes that, you know, that sort of work. So now the next part is to narrow this area here. So what I'm going to do is just fold this edge, this little edge right over that point that we had made on both sides. I'm just folding that over like that. And that all that did was it's enabling me to take this, basically, I'll just do this one more. Got that folded, both sides. And now I'm going to take this little point and fold again right to that first crease I just made, right onto the edge of that toe box. So you can see how these little corners are folded in. And then I'm going to take this whole thing and tuck it right in underneath the toe box. Just fold it right in, and it covers, basically you're basically hiding this stuff is getting hidden. So I'm just folding this other part in underneath. So now you can see how it looks on this side. So we just hid that on both sides. And now I'm just going to turn it over and I'll do the same thing on the other side. So I'm just kind of making these, I've got to just basically hide this little extra stuff. And however I do it, just as long as you can fold it the way, just roll it under and hide that. And when you roll it under and just lay the other piece on top, it will disappear underneath. I'm just going to lay that on top. And now I've got two of these. They look like little rocket ships now. So so this is the toe, and now I'm going to create the heel. So the way to do that is you have to when you turn it over, you're going to take these outer edges here and just fold them as far as they go to the center on both sides, just as far as they'll go. And I'm going to do the same thing on my other shoe. I'm folding these as far as they'll go. Okay, now the next step, see now we've got, you can see that these are the tip, these are the heel, the toe part, the bottom of the toe. And now I've got this back part here. These will be the heel. So I'm just going to turn them so that you can use a ruler if you want. Sometimes especially if you're not making them all at the same time. So let's say, if you do decide to use a ruler, it's fine. I would say about 1.5 inches from the top, you could fold them down. So I'm just going to mark it, make a little tiny, this will get hidden, you won't see it. I'm just going to make a little tiny mark right there. And on this side, on the other shoe, I'm making a little tiny mark. But you don't have to make a mark. I'm just kind of just showing you. Oop, that's 2.5. That was not 1.5 inches. I went 2. There, 1.5 and 1.5. Any bigger would make the heels way too big, I think. But we can try. You can always, this will determine the height of your heel. So what you want to do is then you want to fold. I'm going to turn it around so that the toes are facing up. And I want to fold right on that mark so I can see it. So there's that little mark, which is a 1.5 inch. At 1.5, just fold it down. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side where that mark is. I'm just folding it down right there. So now I can finish the shoes and they'll be the same size because they're both symmetrical. So then you just turn it over. On both sides, you just turn them over. And what you see this mountain fold here, this mountain fold, that mountain fold, this mountain fold to make this, it's kind of the way I look at it is I take this fold, that crease line right there, and I want that to lay right on this part, right in the center crease. So how I do that is I'm just going to bring it over, the whole thing over, right to lay on top. And you can see it lines up right on top of this line here. And I'm going to do this on this side. I'm going to crease it really well. And when I open it, I'm going to take this mountain folded edge. You can see there's that mountain folded edge. And I'm just going to bring it to lay on top with the whole thing. I'm just going to lay it right on top of the center crease. And what I've created is a little kind of a water bomb base. And what now I have this basically a collapsible, no new creases are being made, but I'm going to collapse with my toe box showing up. I'm going to collapse everything into you can kind of see how it collapsed into this water bomb, or it looks like a house on one side, and it looks like this. And I'm going to do it again on this side, on this one, to show you, because now we're almost done with the shoe. So I've got the mountain fold here with the toe front facing down. Mountain fold is here. I'm just going to take that mountain fold and bring it to lay right on that center crease. And crease it really well. Open it up. And now this mountain crease, right, or mountain fold, is going to lay right on the center crease. And go ahead and crease that really well. And then just collapse it into this. Mine's a little off on that, but it's still going to work. So now what we need to do, our shoes are nearly finished. So what we have to do now is open up with your fingers. You just kind of hold what I do, because if you open it up without holding the top, it will kind of it'll open too far. So I hold the toe box, just gently hold that. And then I'm just going to take my fingers and I'm going to open up this inside. And with the foil paper, it is much easier to mold. You can do it with regular paper, but you just have to kind of play with it. You just take your finger and your thumb and just open it up and mold it to the shape that you want. So I've kind of got this beautiful, put my thumb inside, and I'm just going to keep working it. Put my thumb on the bottom, on the table. I'm just going to bring that. So now I have the shape of the shoe. And the only thing I need to do is now fix the heel. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Actually, I probably should have done the heel first. So I'm going to put that to the side. It's been a few days since I folded this shoe, so bear with me. All right, instead of doing what I just did, I'm going to fold it back flat because I should have done it the other way. And this is the cool thing. If you do want to take your shoes apart and send them to somebody, you can. Or if you want to make a bunch of pairs and have them lay flat, you can do this. But to make them 3D, this is what we're going to do. So to get the heel, you're going to make a rolling fold on the left and the right sides towards the center. The way I do that, I just start with like a 1/4 inch or less, and I'm just rolling. I call this a rolling fold because you're not really creasing that much. You're just kind of rolling it towards the center as far as it will go to the center. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. It's about a 3/8, maybe 3/8 of an inch. And I start that first fold, and then I just kind of roll it towards the center and I do it 3 times, until these little parts meet as much as you can get them to meet. And you want it to be as tight as you can, however you can do it. But just by rolling it tighter, maybe making just what you want is you want this little part, there we are, see how I have it nice and tight? And with the foil, it holds together, of course. But with paper, you could use glue. I actually have folded this with fabric and fabric stiffener, and you painted acrylics to make canvas shoes. So yes, you can use fabric and a fabric stiffener and get those things to hold. Or a little glue. If you have just regular paper right now, I would suggest putting a little bit of glue right in this area and pinching it together for a little bit till it holds, and then that will keep your heel together. And now at this time is where we open up our shoe and give it some shape. So I'm going inside with my thumb. I'm just going to gently hold this toe box, and I'm just going to open it up and kind of shape the heel, or the back part of the heel. And then I can also take this heel and just kind of, shape it if I want, but it looks pretty good the way it is now. I'll just keep opening it up until I get it to the shape that I like. So that's that shoe, and I'll just finish up with this one. There we go. So that one's done. So the same thing here, I'll fold, roll fold to the center of the back of the heel section. And then on the other side, do the same thing. Okay, now we've got the little heel, the stiletto heel, or it could be, if it was longer, it'd be stiletto. These are more probably average pumps, you know, for the conservative gal, I guess. And you can make stilettos depending on how long that heel section is. So now I'm going to open it up in the center with my thumb holding the toe box and just kind of shaping that heel. And just opening it up until you find that it just stands up, and now you've got a pair of fabulous pink. This is the pink and white, but it'd be fun to see what you make. So I'm going to move on, and then we'll come back after I'm finished with that. But at least we've got that pair folded. Now the next set is you make it out of either dollar bills. These are courtesy of Joanne. She sent me a book, and I had $2 bills in it. I also use play money, which I bought this on Amazon, and it's fun to work with play money, especially larger denominations. And it's really nice folding paper. But also, you can just use regular paper. And this one is cut 4 inches by 10 and a half. And I'm going to fold it out of the big sheets so that you can see it easily. But you can do the same fold with the dollar bills or any rectangle, longer rectangle. So you want it to at least be double or almost triple, not quite triple. I think the longer the rectangle, the more high the boot will be. So just a nice rectangle is all you need. So with this one, I'm just going to fold the paper in half lengthwise. Lengthwise. And I'm not going to do both at the same time right now. Now I fold the paper in half again lengthwise, but keeping the first fold intact. Just fold it together, make a nice crease in the center, open it up, and you'll fold the folded edge. So there's a raw edge and a folded edge. To take the folded edge and fold it just to meet that crease that's in the center on both sides. Okay, like that. So you've got that shape. It looks like a nice house. And now take this edge or this folded top kind of angle. I don't know what angle that is, but this folded edge has to lay right on top of the center crease. So I just fold this edge right over, and it's easier for me to do it this way. Just going to kind of fold it so that this whole long edge meets that center fold. And I'm going to do that on both sides. Yeah, there we go, like that. So it looks kind of like an airplane. Now the next step is to take it and fold it all in half. Now, if you get, like right now, it's kind of hard to fold in half because I have them kind of close. These creases are a little too close, but it still can be done. I'm just folding the whole thing in half. And now I've got this shape here. All right, so the next step, so you want your flat horizontal edge to your right, and you want your angled edge to the left. And you want your point facing away from you when you do the next step. The next step is take this top layer and just fold it to where this folded edge meets that little pocket kind of little edge here. You just want to make it kind of not too close to it, not to go over it, but just to meet it. You can see I kind of got it so that it's close, but not totally meeting it. And the reason I want that is this is going to be a pocket. And I'm just going to put you can see I've got this is something that I'm going to need to get all of this into. So in fact, if you even have a folder or some tool to kind of open that up, it's a good thing to have. So the next thing is I'm going to take this bottom layer and I'm going to fold this bottom edge, and I'm folding it right over this raw edge. So I've got that. And then I'm going to unfold it and fold the this raw edge and bring it to that most recent crease. And then I'm going to fold it again. And then what I did there is just basically kind of hide. I can even move this a little bit more because what I want to do is hide. I want this to be kind of even. So I want this edge to line up with the bottom edge. However we do that, we just have to fold that edge in. Now this is the last part of the boot, almost. I'm going to take this part. It's pretty thick. You'll notice, especially with any paper, because there's several layers of paper. I want to take it, I'm going to kind of use my fingers to roll it a little bit to give that heel a shape. And then I'm going to take the whole point and I'm just going to take it and slide it underneath, slide it as far as it'll go inside that point. And so you can see I've got like the boot shape is happening. And it's actually already there. The only thing I need to do now is to take this top and take my finger and open it up, open the top up with my finger. And I can take the top, if I want to have a pointy heel, like these little dollar bills, which I think are so cute. They're like little elf boots. Or I can make the point go down. However, if you want more traditional kind of boots, so that's, I'll make this one with the point so I can show you. So if you're going to just make pointed boots, like elf boots, you just point, you just roll the top up and kind of curl it. So you have these little fun curled ends. And I'm going to do another one and I'm going to show you how I just fold the bottom down, but I'll do the second one again. I'm going to fold it in half lengthwise. And I'm going to fold it again lengthwise. And I'm going to take this top, both of these top edges need to be folded to this center crease.
Excuse me, Karen.
Yes. Oh, Cheryl looks like.
Yeah, Cheryl's trying to get in.
I see that. I just saw that. I'm going to, there she is. Thank you. I got so involved in my folding. Hi, Cheryl. Okay, so, and then Cheryl, the stuff that you missed, we will go over again. So no worries. We missed one shoe, but the other shoe will go over again. So I'm going to start, I'll basically start, this is for the boots. Cheryl, you would need a long, like a dollar bill, which is kind of fun. This is not a real bill, this is play money. But just something, a rectangular sheet of paper. And then the first thing I did was I folded it in half lengthwise. And then again, I folded in half lengthwise again. And I open it up and I'm going to take the top edge and fold it to the center crease on both sides. You take the top edge and fold it to the center crease. So now I'm going to take these two top edges right here, these two folded edges, and also fold them to the center. But what I would suggest is don't go on, don't have it meet it, just kind of have it kind of a little bit away from it just to make the next step easier. Just kind of like a tiny little hair away from the center, not so that it's too close. So I've got to just right, kind of just not, it's not laying on top of it, it's just a little bit backwards. You do the same thing on the other side. You fold these edges to the center. So you can see I've got this sort of the toe of my boot here. Now the next thing is you take the right side and just fold it over to the left. And what you'll have is this flat side is on this side, the angled side is here. Take your top layer and fold it to this. You can see this little pocket. I'm going to put my tool in there. I want to fold this edge to just right a little bit under that pocket. Just a little bit under. And then I'm going to take this bottom layer now is going to be, I'm going to just fold this edge over, just over that raw edge. So this edge here gets folded over the raw edge like this. And when I'm going to open it up and I'm going to narrow, basically I want to narrow this whole thing. So I'm going to fold this over like this, just a little bit over, and then I'm going to fold it again. So because I really want a narrow edge. I want this to be completely narrow. So you can take your corners, however you do it, and just get it so that it's narrow. So then the next step, and not the toughest step, but now our boot, you can kind of see it happening. I want to take this edge, the narrowed edge, and I'm going to kind of roll it with my finger to give it shape. And then I'm going to tuck it into that little pocket that I had made. And I want to go all the way in. So sometimes if you have if it's too tight, just take a tool and open it up and then go as far as that will go. And then once it's done, you've got your boot shape. And if you want to fold because this one I folded the toe up, and if you want to fold the toe down, you just take it and you fold it down for a more traditional boot, and then put your fingers inside. So what's great about these, by the way, I love this. They can dance. You can make your boots dance. Kick off your boots. Yeah. Oops, anyway. So you can have fun with them. So that's the boots now. Because I wanted to get through this so that we all have instruction in a video. I wanted to do this third pair of shoes. And I'm hoping, and please don't be discouraged when you're watching me do this. I was actually it was not easy to do, but it wasn't that hard once I think I saw probably 4 videos. There's no diagrams available at all anywhere. And I usually like to follow diagrams, but I watched the videos and I kind of got it. And then I found this website, and it was called, let me see if I can remember the website, kidscanmake.com. Now the kidscanmake.com had a step-by-step with the kind of graphics. And if they could make it, and they had little tiny hands making it. So I figured if kids can make this thing, then we can make them. So, but it just may take there's a little bit of learning curve on these. So I want you to see that they are, I think I might have glued these already. Okay, just to show you, these are 2 pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the heel or the toe box, and then you'll have the rest of the heel and the shoe. And what I noticed is the thing that was the hardest for me was to try to get these together. And what I discovered 15 minutes before we started today, that I could glue these together, and it's a lot easier. So that's actually what I did with these. I glued them. So I'm not going to be a purist and force you to use the pockets that are on the sides, because it isn't really easy to put together that way. So taking a little spot of glue and gluing the little guys down is just easier. So what I did, just a tiny, like a touch of white glue, and then I just insert the whole thing into the length that I want the shoe to be, and I just press a little bit, and then I have the shoe. So instead of doing the other way, this is way easier. So we'll go ahead and get started on the folding sequence. So you've got 4 sheets. You'll need 2 sheets for 1 shoe. So I've got these 2 sheets here. And since I'll fold these twice, so you can see them twice. So the first thing is to make the toe box. And then what I want to do is, this is going to be the side that I want down is my color side down. This will be the trim. So I'm going to fold it in half, just in half.
Color side.
Your pattern side down, like your pretty, whatever you want to be the main pattern will be down.
Okay. Thank you.
So we're going to open, we just fold it in half, and then turn it just 90 degrees and fold it in half in the opposite direction. And open it. So you've got 2 creases right in the middle. And then you're just going to turn it and do diagonal creases on both sides. So I'm just folding it in corner to corner on both sides. So now what I have is, I have all these folds, and these are important folds to have. So I'm going to take the bottom corner, and I'm going to fold it to it's hard for me to see this with this, but right in the center where your creases intersect, all of your creases come together. That's where you want your fold, your this point to go right to that center. And using the creases to kind of line everything up is really helpful. So you've got all these little creases that kind of help everything line up. So I'm going to crease that. And now I'm going to take this folded edge, bottom folded edge, and I'm just going to fold it along the existing crease. I'm not making a new one. And I've got this. So this would be my trim side or the white side. If you have just one side paper, your white will be here and your pattern or your pretty paper will be on this part here. So now the next step is to, you already have creases here. And you just want to take this, they're already there. You're just going to fold these corners up to that top edge. It's already been creased. It's already there. So now you have this. Now you turn it over and you've got a solid side up, but you want to turn it over so that your raw edges are still away from you though. Make sure that your raw edges are facing away. This closed edge is facing you, and then just turn it over and take both of these edges, these raw edges, and fold them towards that center crease. And there, it's kind of a handful. You've got to just get all the layers. In fact, I have to turn them a little to get this all. You want to get all those layers together. So I've got it on both sides. And I'm going to do this on both sides. So it's kind of like that kite. It's almost like you're doing kind of like the crane, but you're not. Of course, it's way different. But you can see I've got all layers. And it's increase that really well. The better crease you give it, the better everything works. So now I have all these layers. And what I need to do now, and so if you have a bone folder, this is handy. If you take you've got all these layers, and if you take the very top layer, which is, I've got, if I look at this and I open it up, I've got 1, 2, I think I have 4 layers there, or 4 sheets. But you want to take the whole, or whatever it is, you want to have only 1 sheet on this side, on the left side when you take this next step. And you want all the other ones on this side, I think. Nope, I'm wrong. So I'm going to rethink this. I want to move all of my layers to the left. Sorry about that. Every single layer, that means every little piece of paper, that's, you want it all to the left, except for that one side. This is all, smooth one side. That's what I was wrong on that one. So this is how I want to go. I want all the little layers on the left and this one to be just one layer on the right. And then what I'm going to do is take my finger and I'm going to push my finger as far as it'll go inside, and I'm going to flatten using this mountain crease that's right here as my guide, because I'm going to push it and press it right down on top. So I've got basically this kind of a squash fold. This is called a squash fold. And I'm going to do this on the other side. So I'm going to open it up with my tool, and you can do it with your finger too. And I want all of the layers, every single piece that's on this side. I want everything to be on the right side. And I want just a single layer on this one. I'm going to put my finger inside there now that I have separated the layers. And I'm going to push it as far as I go, and then just press it down using this top crease as my alignment to line everything up. So now I've got this little squash fold thing. So the next thing is, this is my trim. This is that little part that's right up here. That's all. Oh, here it is. You can see that better. This part is the only part that shows. So if you have paper that has a white side, you could decorate that or color it or whatever you want if you want to have a trim that's decorative, because that really is your only part that shows on that. So that's kind of neat to know. So what I'm going to do now is I need that trim to basically, I'm going to take this bottom edge and fold it right to where these little squash parts kind of end. I don't want to squish them. I just want to kind of fold it right to where they meet and kind of line it up with the tip, and just give it a nice crease. So it looks like that. And now I'm going to take this edge and I can mark it with, I sort of kind of know where that needs to be. Actually, the way to do that is to mark it, you just fold it backwards and you fold it where that little pocket thing or that edge kind of where it ends up. See where that is? I want to go just a little bit beyond that so I can tuck it in. But I'm just doing that as just to mark it. So now I'm going to fold it back and I'm going to go ahead and just reverse the crease I just made. So now I know where it goes. There we are. And now I'm going to take this little corner. I'm just going to reverse that too. And I want this corner, I need to fold it down so that it gets out of the way is what I need. So I could bring this whole corner and I can actually fold this and it needs to go underneath. So if I just take it, and this is a little, you got to use your fingers or somehow to get this corner that tucked all the way underneath. However you do that. It's tricky because I have big fingers. So if you can't get it underneath that way, there, I got it, I did get it. So you can tuck it, just tuck it inside and that holds your toe box together. So that one is there. Now the coolest thing is now we're going to shape this. We've got all our folding done pretty much. So what we need to do is go inside and you can see, if you could look inside, there's these little free areas, these free pieces, and then there's this. You want to push this part into the top of the toe box. So push that down. Is my camera acting weird? I hope you can still see it. Yeah. Okay. So now you want these little parts free to be, so if that's pushed away, then you have these little parts that are free. And what you need to do is to bring these, you kind of have to crisscross them and kind of shape it. And I just use my hand. So I'm kind of crisscrossing these little tips so that they look symmetrical, because this is the shape of the toe box now. And what I do is fold these little edges over just to mark the folds. Just give it a nice crease. And then what I have to do is I have to tuck these little parts in. So you can see there's a pocket. That pocket, this little point needs to go into the pocket. And if I'm just kind of cup this with my right hand, then I can do this with my left. I'm just going to find that little pocket. And sometimes you just have to kind of push it in there. There we are. And just push that into the one pocket. And then the same thing happens on this one. This little point needs to go inside this little pocket. I need to find that pocket with my, you can use a dull knife or something, but this is the part where I have to utilize my close-up glasses. Let's see, I've got a little pocket there. I see the opening. And I just need to get that little point in there. And then once I've got it in, I can slide it. And now the toe box is now complete. So we'll get to that. If anybody got stuck there, I'm going to make another one. So we will be able to do another one. Right? That one was probably the hardest one. If you want, what I could do is do the toe box again, or if you'd like me to do the heel part and then just repeat the whole thing, let me know, because I'm willing to do whatever you want.
Either way is good.
Okay, so I'll just do the heel part now, so we can kind of have consistency. So, well, actually, the last time I did it, I made better shoes by doing the toes at the same time. I think my shoes came out much prettier. So
Oh,
I'm going to go ahead and do the toe box again.
Okay.
So we'll do the toe box again. We'll fold it in half with the pattern side down and just fold it in half. Open it up and fold it in half on the other side. And usually if you do something like this 4 or 5 times, you'll get a better feel. Just the first time I did this, it was quite awkward, but now I'm having lots of fun with it. So, and, of course I folded how many pairs you see there, right? But I've kept myself mentally very busy the past few days. So now I've got these folds on both sides, and I'm just going to fold corner to corner on both sides, or both corners, or all 4 corners. quarter to quarter. All right, so now I've got all these folds and with the center in the middle. Take the bottom edge only and fold that to the top intersection, which I can barely see. I wish I could see that better. There we are. And line up, just line up. And this is what I love about origami, the mindfulness of it. If you just take, it's just like, okay, it goes this way. There's really no guessing, really. You've got everything needs to line up because that's kind of how origami is. If it doesn't line up, then it gets kind of wonky. So we just line up creases and flow like the creases flow like rivers, and hopefully they're straight. So now we take the existing fold that's already there, just folded this piece in half upwards. So you've got this pretty pattern showing in your white or accent is right on the top. Now we're not making new creases, we're just folding these corner edges up on both sides. And what we'll do at this point now is we'll flip it over, but we just flip it with keeping the raw edges facing away from you and the closed edge towards you. And you're going to take both of these edges, these raw edges, and you're going to bring them to that center crease. And it's a little thicker, like my paper is pretty thick, so I just kind of have to coax everything to go together. Same thing on the other side. Get it all to go over there in one section. Sometimes they tend to want to slip, and get weird, but we don't want that. So now we have this layered corner that what we need to do is to take all of the layers and move them to the outer edge, to the left side that's here. And at the same time, you can use your finger, but you push all of these, all the extra layers off to the left, and then just put your first finger is perfect. Line up the crease that's here. You can see that horizontal or that mountain crease. Just lay it right on top of this line that's going this way.
Okay.
Do the same thing on the other side. We open it up, gently open it, kind of at a vertical place. Move all of your little layers off to the right side, and take your finger and push everything down and lay kind of a squat. This is the squash fold. Very, very useful in all kinds of origami folds. So now what we have is this part we need to turn into that. So what we're going to do is take the whole thing, fold it just up to you can kind of as far as it'll go without tearing the under layers. And then we're going to mark where we're going to fold the next part. Just fold it kind of, give yourself a little room so you can tuck it underneath. And just kind of line everything up because I've got to get my point to line up with this part here. And now I'm going to unfold this and I'm going to reverse the fold I just made. And then I'm going to take everything. You can even take your little point and get it out of the way by just moving it. You can even take this point, move it out of the way. So now this all needs to go underneath. Everything needs to go under here. So the way I'm going to do it is I just take it and I'm going to open it up a little so I can tuck it all underneath. This whole little section needs to go. However, oh, my cat just chimed in. Did you hear her?
Yeah.
I gave her some catnip. I think I have a trick. I gave her a bunch of catnip a little while ago and she played and then she passed out for a while. So I might have to give her another dose pretty soon. So now I've got that tucked under. And the next step is to take, now we've got these free little areas. We need to bring these together. And the way you do that is just making sure that all your, any layers are kind of tucked up on the top part. And then we just want to bring these together by you can just shape the box with your finger, shape it going up and holding in your hands. See how it kind of just goes together. And you've got these little wings that kind of come out. And once you've kind of shaped it the way you like it and it's symmetrical, then you fold these little wings just right over the edge of that as far as it'll go. Give it a good crease because those need to go into the little pockets that we have. These are also pockets, and I'll show you the pocket. You can see that's where this little tip needs to go into that pocket. And however you get there is whatever way works for you. That's just holding it together kind of works for me. And then the same thing, this little point needs to go into the pocket on this side. It's the same, it's
Mine
just the
didn't go
same
like
on the other
that.
side. So I've got it kind of opening up, and it helps to open it up because they do want to, when you fold really accurately, it's kind of hard to get that pocket to stay open. And then I'm just going to find that point to get that in there. And once it's in there, then I can just kind of slide it into that pocket. So now we have the second. I'm hoping that you saw clearer this time, but it took me a couple of folds, but we now have the toe boxes done. So the hardest part is really done. Well, of course, they're both similar, I guess, but they're different but similar. So the toe boxes we'll set aside. Now we do the toe or the back. So if you want to have, however you want the toe back, you're going to want to fold it basically kind of the same way. You want your pattern side to be on the bottom. But unless you want to reverse it and have like a decorative, the red side, which would be kind of fun. But I'm going to do the pattern side because I don't want to mess anybody up. So we're going to go, we're folding it just like we did the toe boxes to start with. I'm going to fold it in half. Let's do this at the same time just to save time too. We're folding both sheets in half. And then we open them up and fold them in half in the other direction. Just like the toe box. Same thing on the second sheet, fold it in half in the other direction. And I know we're going to go over the hour, and that's okay. Hang in with me. We're almost there. So I'm okay with going over the time that we're supposed to go, but hopefully you are okay too. So now I'm going to take the corners and I'm going to fold them corner to corner in both directions on both sides, both directions. And I think I was a little ambitious having these 3 shoes, but I wanted you to have kind of a variety of different shapes and levels. So I'm kind of saved the more tough one, but the best one for last. So now we have these 2 folds like this. This is our heels. I'm going to fold the bottom just like I did with the toe. Fold it up to that center intersection right in the center. Make sure they're lined up. And do the same thing you did on the other by folding this here. But one thing we're going to do different now, we're going to just veer off a little bit here. Before the last one on the toes, we folded these in this way. We're not doing that. We're going to turn them over so that the solid side color is up. And we're going to fold these little corners up. So we want the solid side up as we fold instead of the other way. We just fold these 2 right and left corners right on the existing crease. You're not making new ones. Now, the next thing that we're doing is we're going to turn them over so we can see what we have here. So we've got this. If you have white paper on one side, this would be the white side. This would be the pretty side, pattern side. So we're going to take, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to divide this in, how am I going to explain it? We have to make vertical creases. We're basically going to do in 3 ways. There's 3, dividing it in 3s, kind of. So the way I do it is kind of eyeball it. And I just take the left edge, and if you can tell everything is good when you can see that it's kind of symmetrical. And I want to take my left edge, and I could measure this right now, So you have it's a little, to make this a little easier. So let me just make sure I've got it right, and then I'll measure it for you, just to make this step easier. Because there's a lot of eyeballing here I'm doing, and I don't think that's fair to make you do that. So I'm just going to go, once I get this fold right, then I'll give you the dimensions, or the, yeah, measurements. Okay, so I got it right. All right. Now, this is how we figure this out. Our creases are going to be, it looks like 1 inch. Oh, no, not 1 inch. 1¼ inches from the outside. So if you want to take a pencil or a pen or anything, or basically you don't even have to do that. If you just take a ruler and take your ruler and go oh gosh, Karen, get your math together here. All right. So I have my ruler here. From the center, you're going to fold. All right. If you want to do it this way, you're going to make your crease 3/4 of an inch away from the center, or 1¼ inches from here. So you want to make that fold. This is 3/4 of an inch away from the center. Or if you want to do it the other way, you're doing it a 1¼ inches, 1¼ inches here. So if I mark it right here as 1¼ I just fold it over. And once you've made that first fold, you don't have to do a second one. You just fold those both into the center, and do this on the other one as well. So I'm going to try it the measuring way and see if I can do it. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to begin a fold at 1¼ inch, which is right here. So I can kind of score it a little bit with my tool. So I kind of have an idea of what I'm doing. There we go. And I just want to make sure it's straight this way too. So you don't, if you go off a little bit, you just want to make sure it's straight on both sides. I didn't do that right either. Okay, so no, I didn't do that right. So best to eyeball it. I forget the ruler. It doesn't work. I'm sure there's a way, but so once you get that, you eyeball it to where it looks like you've got it in equal thirds. And then once you've done that, then you can give it a nice crease. But don't crease it really hard until you've got that measurement. And you can do a rolling, kind of a soft crease, and that's okay. But when you're ready, just crease it really good. So now we've got these. That's probably the hardest, most challenging part of this one, because it takes measurement, and symmetry is important. So that once you've got that done, then we've got the fun part. So now I'm going to open up what I just did, and I see that I have, if I just take this top layer only, you can see there's several layers in here. If I kind of open up the top, I have several layers. If I keep everything together and just open the top, this is automatically almost doing it on its own. What I'm doing is I need to fold down this inner layer, just on the existing crease, not on anything new, and crease
I'm
that
doing
really.
Can you back up just?
Sure.
And how did I get in the picture? Oh man.
Okay, so what you do? Okay, so this one, the one we just folded like this, I'm going to back up like this. Okay, so I'm opening it up, and I'm just going to lift this very top little flap here, this part here. And as I do that, you'll see there's this little middle layer that's sort of free. It needs to be folded down. And it's not a new crease, it's just on the existing crease. You're reversing the existing crease, and it folds down into this. This is going to be the heel area. So I'm just going to do this on this side too to show you. Open this up, and if you see, I'm opening this whole thing, and there's little layers. These little layers just need to be, and this was probably the hardest part when I was watching videos. Even it was a video, I was kind of going, what? So don't be discouraged if you feel a little like it's challenging, but once you get the hang of it, it's much more fun. So I've got this little guys that need to be reversed, and now I've got this shape going on. So I'm just going to lay it flat now, back to where it was. So basically, you've got these little, the inner layer is folded in thirds. And now I'm going to take the left and the right edges, and I'm just going to fold those to meet that little edge of that whatever this folded layer is. Just right to this point here on both sides. Let's see, I've got that on both sides. I'm going to do the same one on this side. I'm going to fold these little layers in, these little corners, I mean. Now this is where you got to give it a really good crease because this will be, all right, so if we're all there, hopefully we're there. Now I've got to take, remember how I did this.
Mhm.
It takes me, sometimes I need to refer to my own diagrams. Okay, so what I need to do is open up, let's see, okay. What I need to do is open this up. This is tricky, but I'm gonna have to fold. I've got to start the folding process right at this center crease. When you see the center area, this is my center area. I want to start a fold right here. And as I'm folding up, I'm going to take this, I'm not making any new creases. I'm just going to fold it. This is not the way I would do this. I'm going to do this a different way than the diagram. I'm going to, so back up where I forget what I just said. And let's just see where we're at here. I'm going to have to look at, okay. I don't see what I did there. Oh, I know what I did. I should have folded it farther over, I think. But okay, so what I need to do though is what I just did with this fold that I just did. I need to take this part and I need to just tuck it in and go, I was overthinking it. So I need to take this little folded pointed edge needs to be just tucked in basically and just to lay right over that. Same thing on this side. I just need to tuck it in. Does that kind of make sense, I hope? So that what I have is this going on here. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I just need to take this and tuck it in. Basically, I'm not making a new crease. I'm just reversing the previous creases. There we go. That's why I made that harder. I didn't need to do that. Okay, so now our shoe is starting to make, the back part is making, it's happening. We're almost there. I promise, we're almost there. So now the next step is to take these little, I'm just going to start at the center crease like I started before. I was kind of ahead of myself. I'm going to start here and I'm going to make a fold kind of as far as it wants to go. Just a little, this is just a fold that kind of at an angle. And I'm going to make that really nice sharp crease because I've got to reverse that fold. I'm going to do the same on this side. Starting in the center line here, just fold at a little bit of an angle as far as it wants to go, no farther. Just kind of make that little crease on both sides. This is actually forming the heel, the pointed heel. So you know where you're going. We're almost there. So I've got this little part folded. And then I've got to reverse these and tuck them in. So what I do is you just, basically, you're going to be doing this and opening up at the same time. So this is the part that's kind of odd. It seems odd. But what we're doing is we want to keep these parts down right now. And we're going to take this. Actually, no. I'm not thinking. It's okay, Karen. Rewind. Rewind. No, so what I'm just going to do is take these little points that I just made, these little folds, and just reverse them. Don't do anything else yet. Just
Okay.
reverse them. There we are, like that. Okay, do that on the other side. Reverse those points that you just made. You can
Reverse.
feel the
You
layers.
tuck them under.
Just tuck them under, yeah. Just tuck them under. And if you have paper or fabric even, fabric would work great too because it's more malleable, you know, it's softer, and then paper tends to want to tear, and this would be a really great thing with some fabric stiffener. It would be amazing. So now this is, and I'm just going to lay it down like this, just so you can know that you got everything tucked in the way it should be. Now the next step is to, or the final steps, are to take, basically what we're going to do is we're going to take these edges only. And this is going to want to lift up, and these are going to go folded in. These right and left bottom edges are going to fold in while this goes up. And you kind of do this all at the same time. So I'll start with my left. I'm going to take this side and I'm going to bring it. I'm just going to start curving with my thumb on the top here. I'm just going to fold this whole thing over to me just as far as it will go. And I'm going to keep going so that I've got this. You can see everything kind of just folds. You know, I'm not flattening this. I'm not flattening this part. I'm just kind of bringing this up to here. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. You can take a piece of some glue right now if you wanted to make sure it doesn't move. This is what I do. Just a touch of glue right in this little spot so it stays put, because it tends to want to lift, just in this little spot here. Now I'm going to take the second side on the right side, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bring this over, this all the way over. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to just kind of form kind of a shape, pointed to get everything shaped. So I've got this little point going here on the tip. And then I'm going to also take that little touch of glue just to keep it so it won't move. So now actually if you've gotten to this point, you're done. All we need to do now is we've got the heel is ready, it's done. And all we need to do is open up the back part and just shape this little part with your thumb, just kind of round it out. And we've got this sort of scoop-like shape happening with the heel. And this is where you would attach your shoe toe to the heel. And that's it. So that if you've gotten there, now I'll go ahead and I'm going to repeat this on this one. So on this one, I'm going to take the left side and I'm going to open it. I'm just going to, my most important thing is while I'm taking this left part, I just need to push it over as far as it'll go. And at the same time, kind of bring that edge, this top folded edge, just to kind of meet at this point here.
Can you start that again? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Sure, no problem. So I've got my left, or this little thing, this little angled part here needs to be fold all the way over. And while I'm doing that, I also need to bring this, while you're doing that, you just want this point to kind of, you'll see it happens on both sides when you do it on both sides, but you're just pushing this part in and then folding this over on the right side. So everything kind of comes together into that point, and that's the heel. It doesn't look like it yet, but it is. And then I just take a touch of glue, just a touch. And that kind of holds everything together. And you can do like, I don't know, you can make it rounded if you want, or more sharp, just it's your taste. And now once we turn it over, we're gonna open this back part up and just make a scoop. Kind of open it up by getting it to more like a box shape or rounded, kind of rounded, and then get these sides to be vertical. And you can see how that back part looks. And then now all of this, in the perfect world, there's actually little pockets here on these sides. And I'm not doing it because it just drives me crazy. I just don't want to go there. But if you wanted to, you could put these little points and slide them in. But I think it's just so much less stress to just put them inside. And then you can determine the length or the size of your shoe, and you can make it symmetrical with the other one. And once you do, then you can decide where you want the glue. So I'll just go ahead and put my glue right on the tip. Doesn't need to be a lot, and I'm just going to take that and slide it to where, there we go. Slide it inside, and then once I've found the sides that I like, I just press down, and it should hold. And I could do the same thing on this side, just put a little bit of glue on this side and slide those right in there and get it so that they're symmetrical. We don't want two odd size shoes or one shoe much bigger than the other, right? But you can just decide how long you want it, which you can't do with the other. So it would look like this on one side, which is really cool. And it will look like that on the other side. So I could see that they're about the same length, it looks like. And I'll just let that sit until the glue sets, which won't be too long. Oops, no, it's not set. And that's it. Those are our shoes. We did it.